Good evening. Thanks for that. This is until Pokemon came along, this is definitely going to be the most frivolous talk of the evening. So think of this as a light sorbet after dinner. That's probably about the only way you can think about it. Okay, Ed, go wherever you are. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a Japanese food product. So most of you are probably thinking sushi, tempura, teppanyaki, that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to talk about any of that. I'm actually going to talk about Kit Kats. And some of you are probably thinking, what is Japanese about a Kit Kat? It's a very British product, although it's been bought by a Swiss company, Nestle, in the early 70s. But Nestle launched Kit Kat in Japan in the early 70s, 1973. But since 2003, there's been over 300 different varieties of Kit Kat, including things like melon, corn on the cob, wasabi, soy sauce, that kind of stuff. It's pretty crazy. But one of the reasons it's been so successful is that actually they've looked at some coincidences. So if any of you have kind of speak any Japanese or have heard of any Japanese people, you know that they would say Kit Kat, kitokato. Which sounds very much like kitokatsu, which is the kanji at the top there. Kitokatsu means you will surely win. So if you're doing an exam and you're a kid, you're going to get people saying kitokatsu to you. So what Nestle did was that they started creating different varieties, and they used it as part of their omiyage, the gift giving. So on the back of there, you can actually see you can put an address and put it in a post. You can post it directly to people. They also started incorporating all the seasonality of Japanese food and the variety of Japanese food right across the country. So in Hokkaido, you can get purple sweet potato flavour. It's only available in Hokkaido. In Sapporo, and Hokkaido in the south, in the north. And then you've also got the fact that most people buy their chocolate from kombini, which are like co-op. In these very small shops. So they like variety. They like new flavours coming in, so they can put it in their window displays. So it's actually encouraged. And this is my personal photo from 2010. My wife and I got quite obsessed with going into every company we could find and finding every single different Kit Kat we could find. There's 26 different varieties of Kit Kat we found in 2.5 weeks, including almond flavour, which is very nice, and they launched that whilst I was there. Since then, Nestle have employed this guy, Yasumasa Tagaki, and Tagaki-san is a patisserie chef, and they chased him for about 10 years trying to get this guy because they wanted to innovate and be even more creative and just think more completely out the box. So in conjunction with him, they launched these chocolatori stores. So they've now got about 5 of these. This was the first one in Tokyo. And around that time, to celebrate, they launched a 500 limited edition gold leaf Kit Kat, which was actually handmade. They also launched around that time the first Kit Kats that you grill. So you get this Kit Kat, you put it into their Japanese-style grill, and you grill it for 2 minutes. And the idea is that the chocolate, the sugars caramelise before the chocolate melts. And I was in London a few weeks ago, and it's, brilliant, they're selling these. I want to have a go at this. This is going to be great. This is going to culinary delight. It was a fucking disaster. As you can see, the chocolate melted, it left me with sticky wafer, which... bit like Limp Bizkit, but we'll move on. After that, they launched some special varieties, again with Tagaki-san at the helm. You can't quite see, but that is actually a cocktail, an orange cocktail flavour, and that's a lime flavour. So they're constantly trying to innovate. As part of that range, they also launched the butter flavour, which is quite strange. I have no idea it will taste like butter. A sort of sweet butter, as it sounds, really. But the other thing about this is the packaging is really interesting, so they've changed the packaging. They also earlier this year, launched the Molson range, which are handmade. So you'll see there at the bottom, all those cranberries and bits of almond, each one is handmade. They also launched the Slummers version, which is called Everyday Luxury. And then they've also launched these incredible range of very, very specific green teas. So there's actually bits of tea in all of these Kit Kats. So you can see there, green tea, high-quality green teas, roasted green teas, green tea with roasted rice, huge range in this. And they've also this year, which is, I love this, this is a nitrogen blasting place. So it's basically a pop-up store. You go and choose your variety, which chocolate you want. You choose your toppings, and then they blast it with liquid nitrogen. So somebody in a boffin suit blasts it with liquid nitrogen, and then you eat it with a bit of coulis and like a dessert. They've also introduced, in conjunction with their cafe range called Pronto, they've introduced a Kit Kat's obviously as in a croissant, and that's like, come on, this is getting towards culinary perfection now. They also launched a pop-up museum to display all their fine products. So 300 different varieties in the museum. That's only going to be running for a few months. It's running right now, and you can see that's the sake flavour, and that's a strawberry cheesecake flavour. I guess really why do I like this? I like this because I think it represents real innovation and creative thinking. Actually, kind of completely redefines what a chocolate bar can be, and also. As a result, from a Nestle point of view, they're now the #1 selling chocolate in Japan. When you're up against nothing but local varieties, because people in Japan generally try to buy Japanese stuff, that represents a significant achievement. And I find that quite interesting and inspiring, and I hope you did too. Thank you very much. Thank you.